Hello everyone, welcome to Options with Doug, streaming live daily on Bookmap Discord and the Bookmap YouTube channel at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Before I get started, I need to go through the disclosures. General disclosure: all Bookmap Ltd materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and options involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Here's my contact information. The best way to get in touch with me is through Discord. My name on Discord is Doug P. Also in Bookmap Discord, there's an Options-Doug chat channel. Bookmap Discord is free and open to everyone, whether you have a Bookmap subscription or not. And that's a great place to post content related to my presentation or the topics of the channel that I'll go over in just a minute. So questions, comments, content related to the topics of the channel, Options-Doug, that's a great place to post. I'm also on X, formerly known as Twitter. My name there is @DougPless. The focus of my presentation and the focus of the Options-Doug chat channel in Discord is options order flow, the impact of options markets on stocks and futures, and the influence of market maker hedging flow on price action. I have a two-step process for trading, and the first is planning, and I use positional analysis. I look at how traders and market makers are positioned in the options market and how those positions change from day to day to develop a thesis regarding the expected trading range and volatility for the day, as well as a directional bias. And the second step of my process is execution. And I look at real-time order flow in Bookmap and real-time market maker hedging flow in Spotgamma Hero to confirm my thesis and for setups for entries and exits. And when I talk about setups today, I will be talking about setups in an underlying asset, and setups can be taken with futures, shares of stock, or options. So for example, the S&P 500, a trade in the S&P 500 could be taken with ES futures, SPY shares, SPY options, or SPX options, or even ES options. Questions and comments are welcome, and I will be watching both the Options-Doug chat channel in Discord as well as the chat and YouTube for your questions and comments. So please feel free to post. I'll do my best to answer your questions. And Slotozari says, options traders sell the rip kind of day. We'll see in just a minute when we get to setups for the S&P 500. I assume that's what you're talking about. We'll take a look. All right, my agenda for today, I want to go over news items, economic data, events, and earnings for the rest of the week. Then I'll go through my positional analysis for today. Then I'll review some setups from this morning, and then we'll take a look at the live market. And when I get to the live market, if anyone has any stocks they want me to take a look at, please let me know. All right, news items, economic data for the week. There are a few higher impact data releases this week. First of all, consumer confidence out tomorrow at 10 a.m. Then on Wednesday at 8:30 a.m., durable goods orders. Then on Thursday, the GDP report comes out at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And then finally on Friday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, the PCE data comes out. Also, that is the end of the quarter. So there is an expiration at the end of the week. That is the quarterly and end of month expiration. And apparently that's when the JP Morgan collar roll takes place. Also on Friday at 10 a.m. consumer sentiment comes out. All right, so that's the economic data for the week. And Srini, hello. Welcome. Glad you're here. And you're very welcome. All right, let's get started with positional analysis now. I'm going to start with the S&P 500. This is the ES futures in Bookmap. And before I take a closer look at this chart, I'm going to focus first of all on a larger time frame. This is the SPX in a 30-day 1-hour chart showing price for the last 30 days. And I know the price right here today is kind of obscured by these labels. We'll take a look at a shorter time frame, a 1-day chart in just a minute, so we can see what levels are in play for today. So what I want to point out is really the price and the main levels. So first of all, here is the September 15th expiration. That is the large monthly options expiration and every quarter the expiration is very large. There's a lot of gamma that expires, and this expiration was very call dominated. And notice what price has done after a call dominated options expiration. All those calls that are supporting the market, providing stability, expired, and prices move lower. It's typical of a call-dominated expiration. All right, let's take a look at some levels on this chart. First of all, the dashed purple lines are showing the lower and upper weekly expected move. This is based on the options market. It's available, should be available in any trading platform that has an options chain. So that is the weekly expected move. Then the dashed blue lines are showing the lower and upper daily expected move. And that changes every day during the week. The weekly expected move only changes once a week. And I set that on the weekend. All right, so the SPX trading within both ranges, both the daily and weekly expected moves. The next levels I want to point out are Spotgamma levels. I'm going to focus on the key daily levels. These are proprietary Spotgamma levels. First of all, there's the put wall at 4,300. That's a strike with the largest net negative gamma that can be expected to act as support. And 4,300 is also the absolute gamma strike. That's a strike with the largest absolute negative and positive gamma. And that level was definitely in play today. All right, the next level up is the 4480 volatility trigger. It's way up here. That is Spotgamma's proprietary gamma flip level. Below that level, market makers' position on the gamma curve is negative. In a negative gamma environment, market makers have to trade with price to hedge their delta exposure, and that tends to enhance or increase volatility. And notice that SPX is trading well below that level. And then finally, here's the call wall at 4,600. That's the strike with the largest net positive gamma that can be expected to act as resistance. Not really in play. All right, so those are the key daily levels. 4,300, the put wall being the potential floor, and 4,600 being the potential ceiling. All right, let's take a look at a shorter time frame just so we can isolate the SPX levels. So here's SPX in a 1-day, 1-minute chart. I'm just going to scrunch this up just a little bit so we can see the put wall here. support level, and note the low of the day was around 43.02, so just above the put wall level. And then now the levels in play are these combo levels, L3 and L5 at 43.16 and 43.50. At 43.50 was noted as resistance in the Spotgamma AM Founders Note, and 43.15 was noted as support. All right, let's take a look at Bookmap now. So in Bookmap, I have my cloud notes, and I'm showing SPX levels. Let me zoom just a little bit. So here's the 4300 level. That's the absolute gamma strike and put wall. And note that before the cash open, that level did act as support. So that was before the cash open, so it was not shown on the SPX chart that we just took a look at. Then here's this 43.16 level and the 43.15 support level just below that. And that white line above those two levels is the SPY 430 put wall. So a cluster of levels there definitely in play, and a lot of volume concentrated at that level. Note here is the point of control, this purple line, and up until a few minutes ago that point of control was right around the SPY 430 level. And note there is a difference in price between ES and SPX. It's around 40 today. Somewhere between 40 and 41. I'm actually started using 40 today. But it is somewhere between 40 and 41. So I'm showing the 4300 level, SPX 4300 level at ES 4350. So ES minus SPX is somewhere between 40 and 41. All right, so the SPY and SPX levels definitely in play for today. Again, there's the 4300 put wall that acted as support before the cash open. And then this 4324 level that was noted as support acted as resistance. And then the SPY 432 level acted as resistance later on. All right, so those are the levels in play for the S&P 500, and we'll talk about setups in a few minutes. And Slotazari will answer your question. All right, so that's the S&P 500. Shifts in levels, there were none for SPX, and there were a couple for SPY. For SPY, the volatility trigger did move lower at 442, so the S&P 500 is still trading well below the SPY volatility trigger as well as the SPX volatility trigger. And also the SPY absolute gamma strike moved lower from 435 to 430. So that 430 level is a very important level in SPY, and just like the 4300 in SPX, it is for SPX 4300 is the absolute gamma strike and the put wall, and for SPY 430 is the absolute gamma strike and the put wall as well. All right, let's take a look at NASDAQ now. And I'm going to take a look. So this is the NQ futures in Bookmap, and I'm going to take a quick look at a QQQ chart so we can isolate levels here. And there are no Spotgamma levels in play for today. So the main thing is right at the open, this 356 level, just the round number level, acted as support. Then around the 357 level acted as support. And then finally, as QQQ made a series of higher lows, the 358 level acted as support. All right, so that's QQQ. And just for completeness, we'll take a look at NDX. So for NDX, no Spotgamma levels in play for today. NDX is trading in between a combo L3 level and a combo L4 level. And those combo levels are combined QQQ and NDX gamma and translated to an equivalent NDX number. All right, let's go back to Bookmap. So we know that QQQ round number levels are in play, but there are no Spotgamma levels for QQQ or NDX. Well, maybe so. Here's the 0 gamma level. That was not shown on the NDX chart, but here it is, acting as resistance, and then also the 359 level. And there's the 356 support level. 357, 358. All right, so the NASDAQ NQ is reacting at the QQQ round number levels today. As far as shifts in levels, there were no shifts for NDX. And for QQQ, the volatility trigger did shift lower pretty significantly from 375 to 368. So QQQ is trading below its volatility trigger, as well as NDX. All right, let's take a look now at gamma notional. So we know just from the indices position related to volatility trigger that gamma notional should be negative. So let's take a look. And here's gamma notional, market maker's position on the gamma curve at the beginning of the day. And I'm looking at SPX, SPY, and QQQ. Note all these numbers are negative, quite negative. Gamma notional for SPX minus 1.413 billion, minus 2.88 billion for SPY, and for QQQ minus 1.049 billion. Quite negative. For gamma notional for SPX, the number is slightly less negative than last Friday, but more negative for SPY and slightly, just very slightly less negative for QQQ, but still for today quite negative. Let's just take a look at one other thing while we're here. This is the gamma curve. So when I talk about market maker's position on the gamma curve, this is what I'm talking about. And here, just right around where I'm hovering my cursor, and this is for SPX, that's the 4200 level. And note the sharp shift in the gamma curve. And this is an indication that around 4200 market makers are fully hedged and they will not have to continue to sell futures to fuel a rally, fuel a move lower. So 4200 is if price breaks 4300, SPX breaks 4300, that could be a potential floor where market makers no longer have to hedge. They're fully hedged. All right, let's take a look at the Vanna model now. So we can see see a graphical representation of what I'm talking about. So what this chart is showing is market makers delta notional and how that changes with changes in price. Delta notional on the vertical axis, price on the horizontal axis. There are two curves on this chart. First, the light gray curve showing how market makers delta notional will change with changes in price only. And then the purple curve adds implied volatility to the equation. That's showing how market makers delta notional will change with changes in price and implied volatility. And that change in delta with the change in implied volatility is the Vanna effect. And Vanna is a second order Greek. All right, let's take a look at some prices. All right, so we know that for SPX, the low of day was right here, right around 43.02. So what this is indicating, remember, market makers always want to remain delta neutral. So as price increases, implied volatility drops. We're looking at the purple curve here. Market makers delta notional is increasing, and they can buy back their short futures, and that is a put Vanna rally. So those puts in a negative gamma environment, traders are long puts, market makers are short puts. As price increases, implied volatility drops. The price and delta of those puts is decreasing, and market makers can buy back their short futures. And again, that's a put Vanna rally, and that is always potential in a very negative gamma environment, and this does work both ways. So if price starts to drop and implied volatility increases, market makers have to sell futures to hedge their delta exposure. And remember, that can go on until that potential very sharp shift in the gamma curve that we looked at right around 4,200. All right, so that's SPX. Right now, SPX is trading right around 43.29. So somewhere around here. So there is a bit of a Vanna tailwind for price action today for a move higher. And let's just take a quick look at SPY. And here's the gamma model for SPX. Again, there's the 4,200 level and that sharp shift in the gamma model. Here's SPY. And by the way, this Vanna model is very typical of a very negative gamma environment, this sharp skew to the left. Typical of a very, very negative gamma environment. So SPY, the low of the day, was right around 428. So right around here. And right now, SPY trading at 431. So again, a slight Vanna tailwind for SPY. And finally, let's take a look at QQQ. So for QQQ, the low of the day was 356 right there. QQQ currently trading right around 358.6. So somewhere around here. So again, a Vanna tailwind for a move higher in QQQ. All right, so that sets the stage for a potential higher volatility day. Looking for price increases, implied volatility decreases, a potential Vanna tailwind. And then on the other hand, if price moves below 4,300, the SPX put wall down toward 4,200, looking for market makers having to hedge to sell futures until price reaches that 4,200 level. All right, let's take a look at some setups now. So my thesis for the day was, again, looking for higher volatility watching what traders were doing, watching VIX, and there were really not enough shifts in levels to make a determination about direction of price, have a strong directional bias. So the thing that I was doing today is just watching VIX, watching order flow, price reaction at different levels, as well as hedging flow, and we'll take a look at that now. So this is the hero signal, hedging impact real-time options. This is available to Spotgamma subscribers. What this chart is showing is price for SPX and the hero signal, again, hedging impact real-time options. And this is for a combined signal for the S&P 500. SPX, SPY, XSP, and ES futures, all into one combined signal. If you trade any form of the S&P 500, this is the signal that you want to take a look at. And again, it's a combined signal. So let's zoom in on this. I'm going to focus on the morning session first. So we can focus on a couple of setups. So first of all, from the cash open, this rising, wrong tool. This rising line here, hero signal, indicates traders were taking positive delta positions. And when traders take positive delta positions, market makers have to buy futures to hedge their delta exposure. So they're taking positive delta positions in SPX, SPY, and ES and XSP options, either buying calls and or selling puts. So market makers take the other side of that trade and they have to buy futures to hedge their delta exposure. And then that activity levels off and drops right around 10 a.m., setting up a little bit of a short, and then right around 11, briefly resumes higher. All right, let's go take a look at Bookmap. We'll focus on the first two setups there, the long and the short. Let's go to Bookmap, go back to ES. And Jerry, my ES to SPY ratio today, I'm using 10.132. And I actually checked that before the cash open. I haven't checked it since. So it may have changed a little bit, but that's what I'm using today. And what Jerry is talking about is, let me just find that. Gary, I'm not sure. Here it is. I just have a little script that calculates the ES to SPY ratio, so 1.32 is pretty close. It's trading slightly, right around 1.32. So that's just a simple little script that just calculates that ratio and displays it in the badge. And thank you. Glad to get the background on the name. All right, so that's where that comes from. I just look at the real-time value. I look at it for maybe a minute and just calculate an average in my mind, and then that's what I use in my spreadsheet. All right, so let's take a look. We'll focus on the morning here. All right, so this was a reversal higher. Again, this is before the cash open right here at 9:30. and that 4300 level acted as support. Note the shift in order flow. The magenta volume dot showing market buy minus sell, with the magenta dot means there are more sellers than buyers, and the sharp shift in order flow from magenta dots to green dots indicating more buyers than sellers. Then at the cash open, right around this 429 level, acts as support, as options traders were taking positive delta positions from the open. Very bullish order flow. Notice the rising cumulative volume delta that's shown by the pink line. Also buy stop orders fueling the move higher, shown by these small green dots, as well as rising yellow line. And then there were some large traders buying with iceberg orders. So really this move higher at the cash open was just a continuation of the move that began before 9:15 a.m. and that went up to the 43.24 level. And note the liquidity at that level. Let me darken up the heat map a little bit. Very interesting to see the limit sell orders. That's shown by the dark orange band there at that SPX level. That level acted as resistance. Note the shift in order flow. Aggressive buyers moving price up to that level, then aggressive sellers start to come in. Cumulative volume delta shifts lower. Stop orders level off. And then price eventually moves down to the 43.50 level. All right, so there's a long setup from this morning and confirmation in hedging flow shown by Hero, as well as also in Bookmap in order flow with the volume dots, the cumulative volume delta, stop orders, as well as liquidity and reactions at key gamma levels. So pretty easy read in the S&P 500 this morning. All right, let me check for questions. All right, Mike M says, I tried your QQQ to NQ math for the gamma levels. I'm noticing that the levels are not so accurate because the ratio between QQQ and NQ is constantly changing. Can I explain how well that works for me? And yeah, it does change a lot. So I look at it for maybe 30, 45, 60 seconds. Just calculate a mid value. It's just not for NQ. It moves so much. You just don't have to be precise, I don't think. It moves around quite a bit. We'll take a quick look at that. Let me go to my QQQ chart. So this is the NQ to QQQ ratio, and today I used 41.5325. All right, so Mike, yeah, that's what I'm doing. So here's the ratio right there. Maybe a little bit higher. Again, I got this in the pre-market when I was doing my prep, and I have not changed that, so it's a little bit higher. All right, so then what I do is I go to my spreadsheet. Let's just go to NASDAQ. Go to my spreadsheet, and here are the QQQ levels that I'm showing. So I don't know if you can see that. So I get that number, I'm just estimating. and that is for C189. So I'm talking about B. So I clicked on B, 189. Let me just click on that again. All right, so here's B189. There's the formula. And then I just round that number to the round number. I don't have no fractions here. So, it's just an estimate. It's just not perfect. That ratio changes a little bit, but it generally over time it will drift toward 41 until the next contract rollover. So then I just drag this down, and then I highlight the gamma levels here. So for example, here's the 360 absolute gamma strike with a slightly different color and line style. All right, so like that's what I do, and then that's what's displayed on this chart. I use an add-on called Price Lines that displays these levels and draws the lines on the chart. So that's how I get the QQQ lines on my chart. And it's certainly accurate enough. So right now this is showing NQ trading right around 359. We can check QQQ. Yes, the yellow one's QQQ, right, trading right at 359. So it's pretty accurate. 359. Let's go back to NASDAQ. $359. So these are the QQQ numbers. I think that's perfectly adequate. So the yellow numbers are the QQQ numbers that are not gamma levels. Then the red numbers are NQ levels. And then these white labels are the spot gamma levels, either NDX or QQQ. All right, let's take a look at setups now for NASDAQ. Let's go to the combined signal for NDX and QQQ. And you're welcome, Mike. I hope that makes sense. It's pretty simple. I just get the ratio. I just estimate, after watching that for a minute, and then I just fill out my spreadsheet, and there are the levels. And for the SPY and QQQ levels on my ES and NQ chart, I just leave that the same all day. And then for the ES to SPX levels, I initially use the level, the difference, ES to SPX difference that I used the previous day, and then after the cash opened, the SPX level, SPX does not trade until the cash opened. I wait a few minutes, I check that level. So yesterday or last week I had 41, and that actually it's trading closer to 41 now. This morning after the cash open, it was trading right around 40, so somewhere between 40 and 41. All right, so here's the combined signal for NDX and QQQ. Let's take a look at that. And overall bullish for the day. So this set up a long in the morning, traders taking positive delta positions from the open, then a short, just like the S&P 500, and then eventually right around 10:30, this resolved to a long. So let's just take a look at NASDAQ now. Let's go to Bookmap, NASDAQ. Let's zoom in a bit here. bit too much. All right, here's the move higher at the cash open at the QQQ 356 level. Note the shift in order flow. Not quite as clear as SPX, but aggressive sellers on the way down, aggressive buyers come in, price moves higher. The pink line showing cumulative volume delta, that's increasing. Also the yellow line showing stop orders, buy stop orders fueling the move higher. Then options traders started taking negative delta positions. Price reverses lower. And note these lines in the subchart level off. And then 11 o'clock, there's a shift in order flow, a second test of the 357 level, and aggressive buyers start to come in. Let's see what options traders were doing right around 11. And they really started taking positive delta positions right around 10:30. That was that first test of the 357 level. And then again at the second test, they started taking positive delta positions again, and price is moving higher. All right, so this is the entire day for NASDAQ. And notice how price has leveled off as this hero signal has leveled off. And let's just see what traders are doing. Separate out puts and calls. So they are buying calls, that's shown by the rising orange line, the positive notional value for the orange signal. They are also buying puts, that's shown by the negative notional value for the blue line. Call buyers more aggressive. And net for the day, the hero signal is positive for NASDAQ. Or let's take a look at some stocks, and then we'll get back to the S&P 500, see what's going on now, and see what traders have been doing all day. First is Amazon. All right, so when I was looking at this at the morning, I saw this sharp move higher with hero signal, and then the hero signal around 10 o'clock leveled off, started dropping, price consolidated. Let's see what traders are doing. So initially in the morning from 9:30 to 10, they were buying calls and selling puts. Put activity levels off. They start selling calls, and initially price consolidated. Let's go take a look at Amazon. So here's the initial move higher in Amazon. Then a consolidation. Now starting about 11:30, price is moving higher again. Let's go back to Hero. So for Amazon, they continue to buy calls today. Aggressive buyers in the morning. And call buyers leveled off. All right, let's take a look at a couple of other stocks. All right, the next one I want to take a look at is NVIDIA. Zoom in on this. The rising orange line shows traders are buying calls. They're also selling puts. Both these numbers are positive. They're selling puts and buying calls, positive delta, notional value. Aggressive call buyers in the morning. Notice how when that activity levels off, traders started price consolidated. When aggressive call buyers take their foot off the gas, price consolidated and at the 425 hedge wall. All right, pretty easy read here in NVIDIA. Aggressive buyers, call buyers up to a key gamma level. They take the foot off the gas and price consolidates at that level. Let's go to Bookmap, go to NVIDIA. Here's the 425 level. Notice the large amount of liquidity at that level. That liquidity was consumed in that initial move higher, and then it came back in. That's what the Bookmap heat map is showing, a history of the limit orders in the order book. Above price, those are limit sell orders, and the darker the color indicates there are a higher number of orders in the order book. And you can just see that right there. That's 27,369 limit sell orders in the order book. And that high liquidity does attract price. And again, that's also the 425 hedge wall, key gamma level. And if you missed the move higher this morning, a good trade would have been to sell a call spread, buy a put spread at the 425 level. All right, let's take a look at Tesla. Let's go to Hero, see what options traders are doing. I'm going to zoom in. So up from the cash open up until about 12:30, traders were buying calls and selling puts. Notion of value for the orange and blue lines, both positive. When traders buy calls and sell puts, market makers take the opposite side and they have to buy stock to hedge their delta exposure. So there's the move higher just a few minutes after the cash open. And then Tesla grinds higher after that. Let's go take a look at Bookmap. So here's the move higher as traders started taking positive delta positions. A couple of tests of VWAP. Now Tesla grinding higher. Let's go back and take a look at Hero. And notice now the Hero signal has shifted sharply negative. Again, traders taking negative delta positions, and it looks like 250 is the only gamma level in play for today. That's the hedge wall and the key gamma strike. Let's go back to Bookmap. All right, let's take a look at the S&P 500. If anybody has any stocks they want me to take a look at, please let me know. All right, S&P 500 order flow has really leveled off. Large traders started selling with iceberg orders right around 12:15. That's shown by the slightly falling light blue line. Cumulative volume delta shown by the dark blue line slightly leveled off, and there are really no stop orders fueling a move higher or lower. Let's see what options traders are doing. So it looks like the S&P 500 is trading in a range between this 43.24 level, noted as support, and the 432 SPY 432 level on the open at the high end. So for SPY 432 resistance, and SPX 43.24 as support, and the S&P 500 trading in a range. Let's see what options traders are doing. Let's go back to the S&P 500. So really net for the day, the Hero signal is trending lower. So options traders are fading the move lower. And if you take a closer look, each peak up on the white line is met with options traders fading the move. Price moves higher, options traders start taking negative delta positions. So that there's this latest peak up in the Hero signal about 11:20 and then 12:30. So again, they're selling every move up in price. And net for the day, this is notion of value is negative. That's not a large number, but it is negative. All right, let's slice and dice this a little bit. First of all, let's take a look at next expiry. All right, so this is interesting. This green line is showing options trades for the next expiration, which in the case of the S&P 500 would be today. So that is the SPX, SPY, ES, XSP. This is showing options trades and market maker hedging activity for today, and it is definitely bearish. Notion of value minus 2.16 billion. So 0 DTE traders really have been fading this move lower from about 10 a.m. on. All right, let's go back to the total signal now. Then let's separate out puts and calls. So traders are buying calls today. That's shown by the rising orange line, the positive notion of value. They're also buying puts, shown by the falling blue line, and the negative notional value. And that ratio has been changing up and down during the day of put buyers to call buyers. That ratio has been changing. That's shown by the swings up and down in the hero signal when you combine the puts and calls. So right now the put buyers are more aggressive. Starting around 12:30, put buyers more aggressive, and the total signal is negative. Notion of value negative, minus 765 million. All right, let's go take a look at Bookmap. All right, so S&P 500 still stuck in the 43.24 to 432 range, really trading more on the low end of that. Notice the point of control purple line somewhere right in the middle between the 43.24 and 432. All right, let's scan through and see if we can find any other setups. We'll take a quick look at NASDAQ. I guess something more clear. NASDAQ also stuck in a narrow range. Let's go back to Hero. So Hero for NASDAQ just slightly bullish for the day. Positive notion of value here. And it has right around 12.15, 12.30 leveled off, and price is consolidating. Go back to Bookmap. So we'll wait and see. My time is almost up, but look for a breakout above or below that level, that triangle. Let's take a quick look at some stocks. Gonna go back to Hero. We'll just scan through my watch list here real quick. All right, for Apple, hedging flow shifting lower. AMD consolidating. Amazon continues to grind higher slightly. Google also grinding higher. All right, so as already indicated, Meta rallied after the open today. Zoom in on this. This large institutional order there was, sorry, wrong tool. Shown by this large vertical line indicates kind of a large institutional order. Call buyers. So that kind of obscures the signal, makes it more difficult to read. So let's just, we can zoom before that so we get that out of the picture. So not an easy read, I don't think, for Meta today. So it was a difficult read to see what options traders are doing, except maybe right at the open, traders taking positive delta positions. Microsoft. Traders continue to take negative delta positions. Let's go take a look at Bookmap. All right, so it looks like we missed this latest pullback for a short right at VWAP. With a target at the 315 level. Notice all the liquidity at that level acts as a magnet for price. Let's see if that is a gamma level. No, 315 is not, but at a very high liquidity level. All right, so we missed that one. Netflix traders taking positive delta positions. Nvidia still below the hedge wall. It acted as resistance. Back to Tesla. And options traders continue to take negative delta positions in Tesla. Let's go to Bookmap. Notice all the aggressive buyers coming here, the shift to green volume dots. Take a look at CVD. Note the shift. Slightly higher in cumulative volume delta. So I'd be cautious here with Tesla. Back to the S&P 500. Still on the low end of its range. Take a look at Hero for the S&P 500, then we'll call it a day. All right, so the Hero signal continues to trend lower. Let's just take a look at VIX. All right, so VIX trading right just above 17. So I would watch VIX for any clues in the S&P 500, as well as hedging flow and order flow. All right, my time is up. I want to thank everyone for watching. Thank you for your questions and comments. And I will see you tomorrow. Thanks again. Bye.